can't do this. I can't do this. I forget to start. All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to Orioles Podcast Feud, hosted by Give That Fan a Podcast. This is a Family Feud-style double elimination trivia-ish off-season tournament featuring your featuring your favorite Orioles podcasts. We appreciate you tuning in to watch the show. You can follow along with us live on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. Audio versions can be found later on Spotify, Apple, pretty much wherever you want. Everything is posted to UtahStreetReport.com. I do not own the rights to the upcoming intro music. Please don't yell at me. Enjoy the show. All right, it is the semifinals of Orioles Podcast Feud. Tonight we have the Bat Around and the Warehouse Podcast. Guys, you're both undefeated, have a chance to secure your spot in the championship. You lose tonight, you won't be eliminated, but you'll have a little bit of a steeper hill to climb to make it back. Well, you'll have to win one more game to get to the championship, but then you'll have to win a couple more to be crowned the Kings. But in any event, you're both in very good positions. And Paul, I know it's been fun for you so far. You enjoy winning. Do you expect to keep the trend going tonight?
I always get like such severe anxiety before these things, man. I'd like to think that we can keep the trend going, but I have no idea. This seems like a tough matchup.
Zach, how you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know they were undefeated, so that kind of scares me a little bit. I'm kind of in the same boat as Paul, a little nervous, and but you know we're doing good. We had a few strong rounds, and I'm confident, I guess. But undefeated against undefeated, that's always tough.
It's going to be a good one for sure. And Eli and Tyler, this is your first time being teammates through this. You've both collaborated with Jesse in the past. Eli, I'll start with you. The discussion has been 2-0 versus 2-0. Do you think you can make it 3?
I think we can. I've got good relationship with Tyler, obviously. I think we work well together. We both like the Orioles, and apparently that's all the qualifications you need to be here. So,
like the Orioles and have a podcast. That's all you're right to do.
Exactly.
Tyler, is this your second time doing this?
Yes, this is my second time. So I'm going back to back, but Eli's had a day of rest there, so maybe that gives us an advantage to give him the bone up on his Orioles feud knowledge. So we'll see. Absolutely.
Well, this is sure to be a good one. A lot on the line. One team, like I said, actually let me pull up the bracket so I can explain this a little more clearly. Okay. So we are here, obviously. The winner of this matchup will move on to the championship round. The loser will come down to this line right here and will face the winner of next week's matchup between Talkin' Birdie and Florida Prospect Report. Those two will face off for their spot in the championship. And then if you win that one, if you win the first championship game against whichever of you remains undefeated, we'll have a second championship matchup that same night, back-to-back. The plan now is to do that on February 15th, the night before Pitchers and Catchers Report. So clear your schedules. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have a mustache.
It's a long night.
I need to order it might be. It very well might be. It's a long night for me tonight. I'm actually recording Talkin' Birdie and Florida Prospect Report right after this, but we're not posting it till next week just because I don't want there to be such a massive gap between episodes. So, yeah, a lot going on, but we're coming down the home stretch, and it's been a blast so far, and I'm sure that's going to continue.
I was just going to say that us at the Warehouse, we sent both of those teams in the losers bracket to the losers bracket. So it seems like I'm feeling good about getting into the championship one way or another. Not that they were
all you have to do is
in the least, but
hey, as long as you get there, right? So yeah, a good chance at a rematch. I mentioned to you guys, I sent you guys a message on Twitter. If you end up facing Talkin' Birdie, whether you lose tonight and end up facing them next round, or you meet in the championship, because both of your podcasts are 3 people, might try to have a little 3-on-3 action, let you all play.
It's my favorite kind of action.
So we'll see if it lines up for that to be the case. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Gentlemen, are we ready to play Orioles podcast Feud?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, moving on. We're going to start with question number 1. This is going to be for Paul and Tyler. Remember, buzz in using the private chat feature on StreamYard. Don't use comments because everybody's going to see that. Private chat is just us. You can buzz in whenever you want, but if you buzz in before I finish reading the question, I will stop you, or I will stop reading the question, and you will have to give me an answer. And very similar to Family Feud for anybody just tuning in for the first time. We're playing to 250 or the leader after 5 rounds. Let's do it. Paul and Tyler, question number 1. There are 101 points available for this one, starting off big. The top 8 answers are on the board. Starting off big, but starting off moderately easy. Paul and Tyler, name an opposing team that you dislike. Paul.
Toronto.
Toronto, the number 2 answer. Tyler, if you can give me number 1, you get to pass or play.
Okay, I think there's 2 options that are in my head right now, but I'm gonna go with the Yankees. I think people are gonna say the Yankees.
Not go Yankees. That's so obvious.
Bronx Bombers, number 1. Warehouse Pod, would you guys like to pass this round or play?
Play, Eli, you think?
Yeah, feel good about that.
Yeah, let's play.
All right. Eli, go ahead. The board is yours. Name an opposing team that you dislike.
I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox.
I think a pretty clear top 3 there. It gets a little trickier after that. Tyler, we're back up to you. 5 answers left. Still have all your strikes. Name an opposing team that you dislike.
I'm going to go with the other half of the Masson Cup, the Washington Nationals.
Washington Nationals coming in as the number 4 answer. The whole left side of the board has been revealed. Whole right side left on the screen. Eli, back down to you.
I'm going to go with a little old school World Series rivalry. We'll go with the Mets.
New York Mets, a good answer, but strike number 1. Tyler, still 2 to work with. Name an opposing team that you dislike.
I think because this fan base just gets a lot of hate in general, I think I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Phillies.
That's going to be strike number 2. You will see them in honorable mentions. They got 1 vote, not quite enough to make it onto the board. Back to Eli, I think. Name an opposing team that you dislike. Down to your final strike.
I'm just going for general hateability. How about the Chicago Cubs?
Cubs is strike 3. You hit a wall there after you got the top 4. That around over to you guys. You may discuss this between yourselves. Name an opposing team that you dislike for the steal.
All right, Zach. So there's the whole "We Are Family" thing with the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Dodgers
I would guess that.
The Dodgers have that huge payroll every year. Everybody hates the Dodgers.
Everyone hates the Dodgers, but the Rays are in the division as well. So
yeah, but people like to think that the Orioles are going to mold themselves after the Rays, and I find that people in Baltimore tend to root for the Rays.
Well, let's go Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm going to say Dodgers too. Dodgers is the final answer.
Dodgers is not on the board. 90 points to the Warehouse Pod to start this one off.
Some random ass team like the Twins and the Royals are going to be on here, and I'm going to be so pissed off. How are the Dodgers not on this list?
The Astros got to be on there.
I think the Astros. Yeah, that's a good call.
There is one that's random. That's going to be the number 8 answer, which I'll reveal in a second. The other 3 make sense. Coming in at number 8, this kind of goes along the Phillies with general hateability. It's a team that's always good, always there, always finding success. It's the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's
interesting.
So stupid. The Cardinals are like Baltimore, the National League. That's stupid.
Coming in at number 7.
I'm perturbed.
No, I get it. The Dodgers is a good answer. It's all subjective though. This is quite the subjective question. Coming in at number 7, it was mentioned the other divisional opponent, the Tampa Bay Rays, purely based on the fact that they're in the division. I agree with you, Paul, that they're a pretty easy team to root for. Yeah. Out of the rest of the American League East, they're easily the most likable.
I hate them. I hate the Rays, but so many people seem to like them for some reason.
I don't know. I don't have a reason. Like, their fans aren't obnoxious. They're just, I don't know. They're just
because they don't have
any. They have no fans. Yeah,
that's true. At number 6, flashbacks to 2014, Kansas City Royals.
So stupid.
Knocked us out of the American League Championship.
I mean, it makes more sense than the Cardinals
games.
given the history.
But they're so bad right now.
Two Missouri teams.
We faced them one time in the postseason. One time, and everybody hates them.
People hold a grudge. And then number 5, this will be a consistent answer across baseball. It's the Houston Astros. And then
all right, Paul, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Others who got votes: the Phillies, the Braves, and who hates the Marlins? I don't understand that answer.
I kind of hate them.
Somebody that doesn't like Jeff Conine.
I never would have guessed them, but
Paul, who do you like?
I like the Cardinals. I like the Orioles.
All the birds.
I actually like the Astros.
My girlfriend's from Houston, and she might be watching this. I'm gonna hold my tongue. I like the Astros.
I'm surprised, Paul and Zach, that you guys did not go with the Rays, just being the other divisional opponent with 4 answers on the board. But the Dodgers, it's hard to go wrong there. Definitely a hateable team. But in any event, the Warehouse Pod gets the points for round 1. Give me 90 points that they were able to put on the board. And we're going to have to move on to question number 2. Zach and Eli, you will be my contestants to buzz in. Question number 2. There are 97 points available for this one. The top 7 answers are on the board. Name a former Orioles manager. Eli.
Earl Weaver.
Earl Weaver coming in at number 2. Zach, if you can give me the number 1 answer, the choice is yours.
Buck Showalter.
Buck Showalter, number 1. I like the trend of the buzz winner guessing the number 2 answer and then the opponent getting number 1. We'll see if that continues. The battle round, would you guys like to pass or play?
I think we should play because I don't know that we can get all of them, but I don't think they can either, and I think we can get the obvious ones.
I'm not really very good at this, but I'll trust you on that. I just don't know them that well, but we can play, I guess.
All right. Davey Johnson.
All right, going to play. Paul, it's over to you. Davey Johnson coming in at number 4. I'll give a warning here. There are a lot. We had an issue last week with Jim Traber not being on the list of Jims, and Jim Traber absolutely should be on that list. There are a lot of names to choose from for this one, so just beware that not all of them made the board, obviously. Zach, back to you. 3 strikes left to work with, 4 answers left. Name a former Orioles
I believe this is the case, but Joe Altobelli.
Coming in clutch. I like that. 3 answers left. Paul, can you give me one of them?
Dave Tremblay.
That's a good one.
Dave Tremblay coming in as the number 3 answer. Not the most liked, but a longer tenured recent one. It makes sense that he's on the board. Zach, back down to you. 2 answers left. Still have all 3 of your strikes.
The 3 we had or the 3 I know that we just got. So I don't know. I know Cal Ripken Sr. I'll go Cal Ripken Sr. because I know he did manage for a year or 2. There we go.
Ripken Sr. indeed made the board. Didn't have the most successful tenure, but is a notable name and a former Orioles manager. Paul, there's 1 answer left.
I know a lot
Still
of
have
these.
all 3 strikes. So you have at least 2 chances to get this. Let's see what you got. Name a former Orioles manager.
There's 3 on my mind right now.
We got 3 strikes, so.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know any of them.
I don't know if I do either.
And if I get 2 of them wrong, I'm gonna go Johnny Oates.
Johnny Oates will be in the honorable mentions. Zach, let's see if you can pull one out. Name a former Orioles manager.
I think this guy managed the Orioles at one point. Frank Robinson.
It's a good one.
A great guess. He did manage the Orioles. I don't think enough people know that. Didn't make it onto the board. 1 name left. I know, Paul, I'm sure you have a few that you're going through in your head. See if you can give me the one that's on the board. If not, the Warehouse Pod will have a chance to steal. Name a former Orioles manager.
There's two, and it's one of the two. And I really don't know which one I should go with. Mike Hargrove.
Wow. Mike Hargrove is strike 3. We'll see if it's the other one. I don't know. Well, I don't know who the other one is, but let's see if the Warehouse Pie can pull it out. You guys can talk amongst yourselves, Tyler and Eli. Name a former Orioles manager.
So the names that are coming to mind for me, Eli, are Lee Mazzilli and Sam Perlazzo.
One of those two.
Sam Perlazzo was the one in my mind, but I think that's just the name that came to my mind. So it doesn't mean anything.
It's a fun name. I don't know.
I don't either. Let's go with Mazzilli. Let's go with your gut.
Mazzilli?
That was the first one. Yeah, that was the
they
first
were
one
so good for him for like 3 months.
Right?
Let's go Mazzilli.
I'm all for it.
Lee Mazzilli is not on the board.
Ryan,
94 points to the bat around. It's not Perlazzo either.
Is it Ray Miller?
It's not Ray Miller.
Wow. Okay.
This gentleman, honestly, I'm surprised he made it onto the board, but he did manage the Orioles to a 4-game sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers for their first World Series win in 1966. Hank Bauer.
Wow.
I would never have gotten that. Ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten there in a million years.
I don't even know who that is.
And then Surmountable mentioned some names that were brought up: Mike Hargrove, Lee Mazzilli, Johnny Oates, Sam Perlazzo, Phil Regan, and Frank Robinson.
Phil Regan.
Phil Regan.
I don't know who Phil Regan is either.
He was a manager in '95 before Davey Johnson came. They were like 3 or 4 games under 500. He got fired. It was between.
Paul, didn't we have Sam Perlazzo on our show at one point? We probably should have.
We did.
Probably should have guessed that
Sam
one.
Perlazzo
Yeah, we did.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Be fun to talk to.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. He's from Maryland, so he's always willing to do stuff. He's a super nice guy.
All right.
It's good to know that we as a collective unit cleaned up the honorable mentions besides Phil Regan. So
I don't know. I know, Paul, I know you saw this because you texted me about it. I don't know if any of the rest of you did. There was a question a couple weeks ago. Connor Newcomb of Locked On Orioles and his teammate had a chance to steal the board, and there were 4 answers remaining about the worst trade in Orioles history. And he rattled off Jonathan Scope, Kevin Gosman, Zach Davies for Gerardo Parra, Hyun-Soo Kim for Jeremy Hellickson, and then ended up going with Mike Yastrzemski to the Giants, which was not on the board, but the other 4 all were.
Oh, man.
Family Feud can be a cruel game sometimes.
Brutal.
Even when you're right, you're wrong.
It ruined him for the rest of the game. He never recovered.
It did. That was he was down pretty bad after that one. But in any event, tonight's matchup, the bat around with a 4-point lead. It's going to be a close one, it seems. We're going to move on to question number 3 to give one of these two teams the advantage. We're going to be back with Paul and Tyler to buzz in. All right. Question number 3. There are 99 points available, and the top 8 answers are on the board. Speaking of trades, name a player who was acquired by the Orioles in a July 2018 trade. Paul.
Dylan Tate.
Dylan Tate acquired in the I'm not going to say, I won't say too much yet because there are other names involved. Tyler, back over to you. There are 4 answers above Dylan Tate. If you can give me one of them, you get to decide whether you guys want to pass or play.
Yeah, let's go Dean Kramer.
Dean Kramer, very effective for the Orioles last year. One of the few that has stuck around and been successful. That is the number 1 answer. Tyler and Eli, would you guys like to pass or play?
Eli, how are you feeling? You want to play?
I said let's do it. Yeah, pretty good.
Do these guys have to be on the team currently, or just have been acquired?
Just have been acquired.
Okay.
Just the player who was acquired in July 2018. All right, Tyler, back up to you. Name a player who was acquired by the Orioles in a July 2018 trade.
Okay, it goes to me. Let's go Yusniel Diaz.
Diaz, the number 2 answer on the board. There's another one where there are a lot to choose from, so an answer may be correct, but not quite on the board. Nonetheless, there are 5 answers remaining. Still have 3 strikes to work with. Eli, the board is yours.
If I'm remembering correctly, coming with Dylan Tate was Cody Carroll.
Ooh, let's go.
Oof. Cody Carroll did come over in that trade, but
did
not receive enough votes to make it on the board. Unfortunately, not a guy who stuck around very long.
Yeah,
couldn't throw a strike to save his life. Tyler, back up to you.
Let's stick in that Kramer Diaz trade and let's say Rylan Bannon.
Rylan Bannon, a third piece of that deal. 4 answers left on the board. You still have 2 strikes to work with. Eli, name a player who was acquired by the Orioles in a July 2018 trade.
Oh, man. How about Kevin Smith?
Kevin Smith, incorrect.
When was the Castro trade?
I believe that was 2019.
Damn, okay. Sorry,
Miguel Castro for Kevin Smith.
Hey, man.
That's all right. Hey, it's a good guess, and a guy who's still in the system. Tyler, back to you. Down to your final strike. Still have 4 answers to go. Name a player who was acquired by the Orioles in a July 2018 trade.
Breivik Valera.
He was.
Breivik Valera was in that Manny Machado trade as well, but not on the list. He's the easily forgotten one of that group. Bet around, we're up to you guys. There are
Bruce Zimmerman.
6 answers on the board.
Bruce Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Bruce Zimmerman's your answer?
Yep.
For the steal, Bruce Zimmerman.
Paul, I've got a list I'm writing down here, so I'm going to rattle off some names for us.
You may continue guessing. You can rattle off names all you want, but make sure you tell me which ones you're actually guessing.
Okay.
We'll go in that order.
Definitely.
That was my next one, so Zach Pop.
Yeah.
Zach Pop not on the board.
Really?
What?
Wow.
So your points will stop there.
Wow.
How about Josh Rogers?
Josh.
Joey Ortiz.
Evan Phillips has got to be on the board.
Ortiz was drafted.
No, there's a different Joey Ortiz.
Different Ortiz.
Ortiz.
I wasn't even tracking that.
No, this was Luis Ortiz, actually.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what it was. Luis Ortiz.
That was the Braves deal.
Yeah.
And then Brett Cumberland, that was the other one.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, so I will reveal a few here. 84 points are coming your way, by the way, but I will reveal the remaining answers. Coming in at number 8, he was mentioned, Josh Rogers. Zach, you just mentioned this one, Brett Cumberland. And I don't think I heard this name brought up, which is a little bit surprising. But he put together a 4.0 B WAR season, and then moved on to bigger and better.
Oh yeah,
Jonathan VR.
That's right.
I love Jonathan VR. I can't believe I forgot him.
Got him in the.
I was thinking all prospects. Wasn't thinking VR.
And then
considerations.
Others received. Yeah, Zach Pop, Evan Phillips, Cody Carroll, and cash considerations. He's been back and forth quite a lot.
Lucas didn't come over in that trade though. He came over the next year for VR.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's what we got back from him.
Easton Lucas.
I don't even know.
It's so ridiculous.
He's still in the system, isn't he?
I think he is.
Yeah, he is.
Dude hits 279, 24 homers, 40-plus stolen bases. He drives in nearly 100 and gets traded for Easton Lucas.
Dude, he was going to be $10 million. It was so over the top expensive. We couldn't afford it.
Yeah, 12 million. Wow.
He steal 40 bags. I think he had like 24 homers, stole 40 bags. He had a really good year.
He hit for the cycle.
Yeah. Was it hit or no? I think it was Hanser Alberto who tweeted "I am Orioles," which was just so endearing. I love that.
All right, Zach. If we win this, I think we win.
If you win this round, you will win the game. Even if you don't get to 250, there are not enough points in the 5th round. So, Warehouse Pod, you need to sweep it from here on out.
We just got
to 90.
Two strikes on the last question for correct answers. That one hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
This might be our moment where we take a turn for the worse.
Like I said, Family Feud can be a cruel game sometimes, especially when it comes to trivia questions like this, where there are a lot of objectively correct answers. All right. We're going to move on to question number 4. This will be for Zach and Eli. Make sure you're ready to buzz in.
Yep.
Question 4. There are 89 points available for this question. The top 8 answers are on the board. Name a living former Oriole with whom you would love to have a beer. Zach.
Stupid question.
Cal Ripken.
That's a good question.
It's a terrible question.
It's a great question.
To move on to the championship, this is the question.
Number 3. Wow.
They can't all be pure statistic based. Cal Ripken question. It was the answer number 3. Eli, you have a chance to give a higher answer. Name a living former Oriole with whom you would love to have a beer.
Going with Adam Jones.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
Adam Jones, the number 1 answer. Paul, the look of disgust. I'm sorry. I personally think this is a great question. There's still another round after this, so don't.
I always forget that there's questions like this, and it's like you could advance just because you guessed better than somebody else.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a
Paul was
curveball.
studying like the
Ryan
top 20
from Talking
batting
Birdie
averages
is
all the time, not this.
Ryan from Talking Birdie is still pissed that I asked him who looks like a cat guy. I thought that was a great question too.
That was how we ended
Some of
up
them
here.
Some of them are goofy, you know. All right, Warehouse Pod. Would you guys like to pass or play?
I think we got to play.
Yeah, we got to play.
Yeah.
All right. So give me as many answers as you can, and then the bad round will have a chance to steal. If you don't complete the board, they'll have a chance to steal and win. But for now, the board is yours, Eli. Name a living former Oriole with whom, or sorry, Tyler, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because Eli did the,
yeah. That's right. Name a living former Oriole, Tyler, with whom you would love to have a beer.
I think we got to go with Brooks Robinson. Everybody loves Brooks.
13 people love Brooks enough to put him on this list. Still 5 answers to go. Eli, name a living former Oriole with whom you would love to have a beer.
Maybe this is recency bias due to all this broadcast stuff he's doing, but Ben McDonald.
Ben McDonald on the board. Paul, I saw you shaking your head. I co-hosted the Bat Around with you, not this past Saturday, but the one before. We had Ben McDonald on the show, and you were telling me he's the guy that you would love to have a beer with.
I feel like I want to be friends with that guy. Absolutely. I love Ben McDonald. I just feel like I want to be like his friend. I want to be his friend.
It's a great personality.
A great dude. So that's a clutch pull from you guys, because I worry that if you hadn't put him on the board, Paul would have stolen with that answer. Mm-hmm. You can keep going. 3 strikes left to go. 4 answers on the board. Name a living former Oriole with whom you would love to have a beer.
And it's my turn, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I'll go with a still active player, but no longer with the Orioles. Jonathan Scope just seems like a fun.
I was thinking the same thing. Kind of guy. Yeah.
That's then we're saving strikes that we're clearly about to get.
Yeah, well, this is the problem. You can see the mouse moving over.
Right, we're watching, following it around.
Jonathan Scope not on the board. Eli, back to you. Name a living former Oriole with whom you would love to have a beer, or a whiskey, or a shot of vodka, or a glass of water.
I feel like those are different questions potentially.
That's true. We'll keep it with beer, because that's how I phrased the question to the survey people.
All right. I'll stick with the recent playoff run. Let's go JJ Hardy.
Ooh, yeah.
You faked me out. I saw you
faked you out with the cursor. JJ Hardy on the board. 5 more points. That's 68 on the board as it stands now. I keep forgetting which one of you just answered, but
Eli.
Tyler's turn.
Yeah,
that was Eli. All right, Tyler's turn. Go ahead. 3 answers left. 2 strikes to work with.
The fact that Ben McDonald's up there makes me think that Palmer might be up there, so I'm going to go Jim Palmer.
Jim Palmer on the board brings you up to 78 points. There are 2 answers left, 2 strikes still to work with, so you have a little bit of breathing room. Name a living former Oriole with whom you would love to have a beer.
I said this once before. I think I'm going to regret it. Yeah, I feel like Jim Tomei. I think enough people, like not enough people think about him, but I mean, he was as wholesome as it gets.
One of the best guys I've ever met, but unfortunately, not on the board.
I was gonna regret it.
He's been an answer to a few questions throughout the show to this point, but not this one, unfortunately. Tyler, back up to you. Down to your final strike. Name a living former Oriole with whom you would love to have a beer.
And were managers, like former managers, eligible for this? Can I ask that question?
Yeah, they're not.
Okay.
I think that's a fair question.
Okay. I wouldn't agree with this answer, but since he's been broadcasting recently and I feel like top of mind for people, I'll just say Mike Bordick.
Yeah. Mike Bordick is strike 3. Bet around. You guys have a chance to steal the board. Name a living former Oriole with whom you would love to have a beer for the steal and for a trip to the championship.
Zach, I feel like I know both answers.
I'm thinking either Boog or Eddie Murray.
I'm thinking either Boog or Bill Ripken.
And now I don't think Bill Ripken's big enough. I would go Boog.
I'm gonna say Boog, but I think that that people realize that Bill is like fun.
No, Bill's a cool guy.
But I'm going Boog Pal too. I
think let's go Boog Pal
on the board.
That's a good answer.
Boog Pal is on the board. Congratulations, the bat around. You guys are going to the championship. Boog Pal brings 83 points on the board. You can guess the number 6 answer if you'd like.
I think it's Bill Ripken.
Maybe Ryan Flaherty. I don't know.
I think it's
everyone loves Ryan Flaherty.
It doesn't matter at this point.
It doesn't. We've won. But just open it. I think it's Bill.
It was indeed Steady Eddie.
Eddie's on a beer.
Beer named after him now.
He is. I can't believe that people wouldn't choose Bill Ripken after having F face on the bottom of his bat. If you've ever been around Bill, you know that dude likes to tie one on.
Oh yeah. And then honorable mentions, big game Tommy Hunter, who would be one of my personal choices. Nick Markakis, Manny Machado, and the aforementioned Ryan Flaherty receiving votes as well.
I do have a story real quick. When I was a kid, Bill Ripken moved into my neighborhood right across the street. And he came over to our house for a wine tasting one time, and he came to our house for a Christmas party another time. And I won't divulge how much he drank, but even as a little kid, I was shocked at how much he drank. It was impressive. And he showed up wearing tie-dye pants, a neon pink shirt, and a mullet to the wine tasting. My dad was a doctor, so that's why we were having wine tasting. Just a little insight there.
That's amazing. I love that. All right. Bet around advances to the championship. Warehouse Pod will head down to the losers bracket and face the winner between Talkin' Birdie and Florida Prospect Report. Your time is not quite up, but you do have a little more in front of you now if you want to win the whole thing. So Paul and Zach, congratulations. Tyler and Eli, I've been ending my elimination shows recently by asking my eliminated teams to describe their time in the tournament in 3 words. Fortunately, I do not have to ask you that question tonight because you are still alive. As I mentioned, you can think about it. Start planning your answer ahead of time. You'll face the winner of Talkin' Birdie and Florida Prospect Report. If that winner is Talkin' Birdie, then we might have a 3-on-3 matchup, as I mentioned at the top of the show. But in any event, Paul and Zach, I won't be seeing you again until the championship, which as of now, like I said, is scheduled for February 15th, the night before Pitchers and Catchers Report. So you have some time to relax, take it easy a little bit, think about maybe some more subjective questions that I might ask. I won't be revealing anything. I will say,
Ryan, you know I love you, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I appreciate the feedback on these things. I do want to say, though, that not that I'm rooting for or against anybody in this tournament, but I'm glad that the bat around was able to win this in 4 rounds because that means I get to save my 5th question for another matchup. And it's one of my favorites, I have to say. So that's going to do it for I guess this was episode 11 of kind of round 4, kind of the semifinals. It's weird because the rounds aren't the same with the way the bracket is set up. But in any event, thank you to my contestants for participating. I'm going to hop off here. I have another show in 25 minutes. We're going to record Talkin' Birdie versus Florida Prospect Report. That episode will be streamed. It'll be streamed live as we normally do it, but it'll be with the pre-recorded video from tonight. And so that'll help us space things out as we approach the championship. Guys, it's been a lot of fun so far. Thank you so much for doing this. I'll be in touch about scheduling. And thank you to those of you who are tuning in on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Thank you, as always, to Derek and Tony at Utah Street Report for hosting the podcast. And we will see you guys next week on Orioles Podcast Feud, hosted by Give That Fan a Podcast.